Is sensory overload real? Yes, sensory overload is absolutely real. It's a very common challenge with neurodivergent individuals, kids and adults. If you're raising a neurodivergent child, you're most likely very familiar with it. And because sensory overload results in behavior challenges, it's really important as a parent to recognize it for what it is, understand it so that you can support your child the best you can. Sensory overload happens when our senses are subjected to more input than our nervous system can tolerate in that moment. It's that feeling when there's just too much going on. It's like a car engine that overheats or a house electrical system that shuts down because too many appliances are being used at the same time. Sometimes the overload is caused by a specific type of input that a child has a hard time tolerating. Maybe they're particularly sensitive to sounds or smells or certain forms of tactile input. Or at other times, it could be caused by a buildup of events that lead to your child's nervous system becoming so overwhelmed that they can no longer function. Sensory overload leads to dysregulation. And the way it shows up is through things like avoidance, outbursts, meltdowns, or physical symptoms like headaches or stomach aches or not being able to focus. It's really tempting in that moment to minimize your child's experience and tell them there's no reason to be upset and that everything is okay, but doing so can actually backfire a great deal because your child's experience is very real. So the last thing you want to do is to deny it. Here are 4 steps to consider. Number 1, you need to recognize when it's happening. No matter how frustrating, disruptive, or concerning it is, it's not your child's fault. Number 2, learn what triggers your child's behavior so that you can plan accordingly and make modifications whenever possible. Often a slower pace, more time to transition, lots of hugs and comforting input can help. At other times, some situations will be more complex and require more brainstorming to identify a combination of strategies and steps that can help. Number 3, once your child is calm again, reflect with them on what contributed to the sensory overload and what helps them regain a regulated state. Those conversations will look very different based on your child's maturity level and development, but there's usually always something that can be shared in a positive and productive way. As you keep learning about what can help your child, you also want to share that with them so that they can keep learning about themselves in the process. Number 4, become your child's biggest advocate so that you can explain to others why your child is struggling and how to better support them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on sensory overload.